Gurvin Singh seemed to be living the high life, posting images of his high-end jewelry and fancy cars to support his claim that he made millions on the foreign exchange market. He promised that other people could follow his advice to become wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. In reality, Singh, or Gurvs, as he called himself on Instagram, was selling nothing more than a pipe dream that cost many investors money they couldn't afford to lose. All these promises are red flags even a new investor should recognize. According to an in-depth investigation by journalist Moby Nazar, Gurvin used his social media accounts to sell the false hope of guaranteed financial windfalls for anyone who invested their money into his scheme. Although Singh apparently raked in about £3 million, the evidence shows it was through scamming naive people out of their savings rather than finding a profitable investment strategy. To convince social media users that he was the real deal, he made impossible promises that even the most experienced money managers wouldn't touch. Specifically, Singh promised his investors that they'd never lose any money. While most people disregarded his call to action, this 20-year-old scammer reportedly convinced roughly 1,200 individuals to send their cash. A few made it through the experience, only losing a few £100s. Others handed over as much as £88,000 that they never saw again. Singh's ego-boosting posts portrayed a young man with an undeniable knack for making a buck. At one point, he claimed his savvy investing skills turned £200 into a whopping £100,000. The huge return on such a small initial investment was clearly enticing to others who wanted a piece of the action. He took the grift further by suggesting that investors could expect to make £300 per day if they followed his lead and trusted him with their cash. He deleted old social media accounts and started new ones before settling on the handle @Mr.Gurvs. Still, his content remained centered on the same false promises and fabricated evidence of his personal wealth. One of his most popular posts depicted him handing out money to random strangers as if he had so much that he didn't know what else to do with it all. Singh presented himself as a reputable trader in the foreign exchange or Forex market. In reality, watchdog organizations and regulators kept a close eye on his claims and ultimately warned the public that he was not properly licensed to make the type of investments he peddled online. Forex trading is a broad term that can refer to any transaction that exchanges one international currency for another. While reputable investors can make a healthy profit, the global financial system is full of fraud. One attorney specializing in such scams said that her law firm has taken up thousands of cases in which victims said they were conned out of their savings by a Forex fraudster. It's bad enough that Singh conned so many people, but the fact that investors lost all their money on Christmas Eve added insult to injury. One of those individuals, identified only as Jonathan, shared a story that was similar to many others who fell for the investment scheme. He was 24 years old at the time and saving money to buy a home. Most of the people who found Singh through Instagram were also in their early 20s. Although Jonathan said he frequently scrolled through social media to find funny posts and memes, sometimes an investment influencer would catch his eye. After he spotted the viral video showing Singh handing money to folks on the street, he became intrigued with the idea of investing in the system. Jonathan sent Singh a message, and the reply indicated that a £500 initial deposit would be required to move forward. It was a no-brainer for Jonathan, who was clearly impressed by the luxury cars and expensive tastes displayed on Singh's Instagram account. The first step involved joining a group message to learn more about the process. After being told he'd earn £100 right off the bat, Jonathan decided to sink more of his £17,000 savings into the scheme. Days later, Singh said the initial investment had nearly doubled and was worth £30,000. Jonathan knew the inherent risks associated with trading and investing. Ironically, he said it was rare to lose an entire investment. After learning all of his profits had been wiped out in December 2020, he realized how wrong he was. He remembers the losses coming quickly as £27,000 turned to £9,000 on Christmas Eve. Jonathan watched helplessly as more and more of his money evaporated into thin air. He said he assumed that the millionaire investor was working within the confines of British regulators others at the Financial Conduct Authority, but he was wrong. In fact, the agency issued a strongly worded advisory confirming that Singh was not affiliated with the FCA and urging prospective investors to think twice before giving him any money. Making matters worse, Singh and others involved in the scheme went back on their earlier promise that Jonathan would be able to take his money out whenever he wished. While he was obviously distraught over the whole situation, he said that others lost substantially more, including some investors who were scammed out of their entire life savings and found out about it the day before Christmas. Singh's scheme attracted significant attention outside of the social media realm. Veteran journalist Moby Nazar was among the most prominent sources of information and compiled all of his evidence to create a compelling documentary titled Scam City, Money, Mayhem, and Maseratis. After his marks lost millions, Singh appeared eager to put the whole ordeal behind him. In fact, he launched yet another scheme online to target young people interested in investing. As media reports noted, his Instagram profile was scrubbed of any references to his prior Forex trading rhetoric, and in its place was promotional material about a new business called Academy to Earn. This venture, he claimed, consisted of an internet-based educational program designed to share the fundamentals of online marketing and sales. While Singh might have pivoted away from his prior strategy, Nazar wasn't prepared to let him get away scot-free. Instead, the investigative reporter hunted for clues and interviewed a long line of people who claimed they were swindled out of their savings by a smooth-talking social media user. This 4-part documentary aired on BBC Two and received plenty of critical acclaim. However, it was just the latest in a series of scandals and controversies he'd attempted to expose by digging deep into the relevant facts. His impressive portfolio includes reports on topics including U.S. drone strikes in the Middle East, the life of LGBTQ individuals in Pakistan, and an award-winning expose about a police-related incident in the United Kingdom. Nazar also completed a labor-intensive book containing various details from the life of the late singer-songwriter Prince. After interviewing fraud experts and the apparent victims of the investment scheme, Nazar tried to get some information from the source, found out where Singh was living, though it didn't reflect the lavish life he'd been selling on Instagram. Instead, the journalist found him living with his parents in London. They were all sharing an ordinary house. There were no signs of the wealth Singh allegedly amassed through his expert knowledge of the foreign exchange market. When Nazar confronted him outside of the home, it became clear that Singh wasn't ready to go on the record. Instead of responding to the reporter's questions, the accused scammer hid in a nearby store. A few moments later, Singh made his escape. He hustled down the street with his girlfriend while Nazar was hot on his tail. Then the tight-lipped scammer hopped in his car and drove off, leaving Nazar with more questions than answers. As Singh received increased scrutiny from the media, he decided to publicly address the allegations against him. Unsurprisingly, he blamed others for the fact that his scheme lost money. Specifically, he pointed the finger at Infinox, a brokerage firm that put the entire plan in motion. For its part, a Bahamas-based branch of the company claimed it operated within the confines of the law and denied any wrongdoing. On the other hand, Singh insisted that he agreed to a deal with the firm to attract investors and claimed he didn't know at the time that the partnership was doomed to fail. Infinox UK has also distanced itself from Infinox Bahamas and said that the British-based branch had nothing to do with any agreement to market the investment scheme. Official documents suggest that Infinox Bahamas took the lead in determining where to invest the money. Still, its CEO asserted that Singh's actions were why those investments ultimately went south. A series of WhatsApp conversations also surfaced, revealing that victims were being told that their investments were making money. In reality, they'd been shedding profits since at least 2019. The individuals in charge of managing these accounts appeared eager to downplay any evidence that the investments were losing money. Eventually, the combined value of these assets dipped below £4 million. All the accounts were closed and the investors lost all their money. The evidence suggests that Infinox Bahamas played a central role in developing and marketing this corrupt investment plan. Nevertheless, Nazar's documentary series revealed details that emphasize Singh's involvement in defrauding investors. The bottom line is that there's clearly enough blame to go around, even if no one involved wants to accept their share of the responsibility. Amid all of the finger-pointing at play in this story, Singh hopes he'll convince critics that he's just one of the victims. He continues to tell the world that his only error was signing a contract in good faith that resulted in a series of ill-advised trades and ultimately cost investors millions. In his mind, he was just a young entrepreneur trying to make a name for himself when he fell victim to a business that offered him a misleading contract. He also shared his desire to sit down with regulators at the FCA to address the organization's depiction of him as an unauthorized financial services provider. For what it's worth, the FCA still included its warning about Singh on its official website, even as he tried to shift the blame to Infinance. When they asked about the contents of Azhar's documentary, Singh opted to keep his mouth shut. So far, Singh has not been charged with the crime, although it's unclear whether the legal system will ever hand down justice for the perpetrators and victims. There's no doubt that the underlying scam will attract significant attention for years to come. Thankfully, folks like Jonathan are willing to discuss their staggering financial losses. Meanwhile, Azhar and other brave journalists continue digging up details and following the facts wherever they lead. Click to watch one of these next videos. What would you rather pay for? An internet course to learn to manage your own money, or pay to have professionals invest your money?